Hello, here is another episode of my Dark Season defense. It's been 5 weeks since I started to use a cav line. 5 weeks per Dark Season. So what has changed since last time? About Mia first. Speed rest solo, attack smoke, low attack speed. As for Veronica, 45 cavalry. As for Lilina, that skill which cost me 500 orbs. My wallet was crying. Anyway, I remember many top players in top ranks, even raids, they had low speed death on Mia. I was also under the impression this is the best skill for Mia. But I changed my mind. Now I know low attack speed is the best for Mia because it allows her to survive much better, especially with defensive buffs. I make sure she will not get screwed by panic, debuffs, and Mila. If Mila blocks Veronica, at least I have Harsh Command Plus on Yun. Why it is important to have defensive buffs and lure attack and death or rest solo is because, as I've said earlier in previous videos, for your cav lines, the best scenario is turn 1, everyone survives. If, for example, Lin was killed turn number 1, the next turn they have to kill only 1, 2, and 3 cavs plus Bramimon. But now they have to kill 5 units, 4 cavs plus Bramimon. It's impossible for them to do that without exposing mythics, support unit, and bonus unit. Someone eventually will die. Especially with this map here, they have nowhere to hide. Initially, I had this presentation, this row empty. Many players said, I have read that quite often, oh, you want to beat a cav line? It's easy, bring no structure. But that's not true. A good cav line will still destroy you even if you have no structure. It's not just about the structure, it's about also your team composition. You really have to use a special team against a good cav line. So yes, this map, I liked it a lot because there is nowhere you can escape, nowhere you can hide your mythics and weak units. But now I changed my mind and I placed the thrones here just to block the path to Bramimon and Veronica. Why? That is because of what happened. First day of the week, something crazy. When I see that, I feel uneasy. I mean, it's ridiculous. From my perspective, it's kind of ridiculous. So first, the blessings, of course, I see that it's not a serious player. And why there is only one mythic. But look at this. Look at this. I cannot call it a strategy. I mean, I am a serious player. And whenever I see this replay several times, I feel confused, so confused. I mean, I am a serious player and I like it when players try to do their best to make good performance, but this performance is, I don't know. But I know one thing, I don't want to lose against a player who plays like that. So now I have those thrown, just to make it a bit more difficult to snipe my most important units. One has RDB ring and the other has, the dazzling effect. So this team is kind of funny because it looks like a cav line versus a cav line. There's something interesting, very interesting here, and that's a good lesson for those people who think Tactics Room ruins a cav line and destroys a cav line. It is not true that a Tactics Room always is a danger for your cav line, because as you can see, for example, Veronica cannot move. But look what happens. Very carefully, look carefully. It's a very interesting behavior because Veronica, as she cannot move, she wasn't threatened by anyone, and still Yun has used Harsh Command Plus on Veronica, and now she's able to move. What I mean by this is that Tactics Room is not so much a problem for you as it is for your opponent. At least from my experience, Tactics Room was more a problem for my opponent, not me, because the Tactics Room caused them to make such a mistake. So many miscalculations. They believe, oh, I can place my unit freely now because their units cannot move thanks to the Tactics Room. But they forget about the Restore Plus, or maybe they don't know how the Harsh Command Plus works. And this causes them to lose 1 or 2 units. So yes, I strongly disagree about those people who say that Tactics Room is a problem for you. But that means also Restore Plus and Harsh Command Plus are super important for your defense. You must have these skills. It's really worth it. It's almost, I would say, especially in Dark Season, against Mila, it's mandatory. You have to use 1 Harsh Command and 1 Restore, because Mila is almost everywhere. She's dangerous. So here this player did something good. He split the units, and now Bramimon, even though he used Wings of Mercy, he cannot attack either Aversa or Lysithia, because this is exactly what you want to do. You want to split the super tank from the others. Otherwise, as I said, Wings of Mercy will cause you to lose 1 or 2 units. A speed-oriented build for Ike is exactly what I would recommend. A traditional Brave Ike Node, C disrupt, quick riposte is not really good. Ike is much better with a speed-oriented build. By the way, it looks confusing, but in fact it's not, because the problem in fact started with having too many structures. So this person knows he cannot protect Sharina. If Sharina stays behind Ike, she dies. And within Veronica's column, she dies. So yes, it's not a bad move in itself, because this way you actually tested one of these two bolt traps. Because since Sharina has to die, at least she has to be useful somehow. So now you know the fake bolt trap is on the right side, and you can freely attack Lynn and kill her. This really makes a difference. ARD, attack speed. Because now I got this skill. Because earlier in the week I didn't get the skill. I wanted this skill so badly because since 2 weeks ago I've noticed that Lilina missed the kills sometimes by maybe 2, 3 or 4 HP, and as it continues it makes me feel uncomfortable. I really want her to secure a kill, so that's why I try to get the best kill for her, because she needs the one shot, she needs to kill, and that's important. It's a detail, but in a cav line what works really well is the attention to details. The A skill is one of the most important. So here, for example, again, it's another very good illustration as to why tactics room usually is more a problem for your opponents. So don't be afraid of tactics room. If you have enough restore plus, harsh command plus, it will protect you. I would say at first glance it looks confusing. Why Lysithia instead of Brave Lucina? In fact, it's this kind of team composition that eventually could work well against a cav line, because having too many melee units is not good against a cav line. You need several range units, otherwise you cannot reach them and attack them. Now Gangrel is a bonus unit, and it's very convenient because he's a ranged unit. Lysithia also is a ranged unit, and Peony is a dancer, and super convenient also because she has guidance. I think it was close. It was really close. But yes, it's something eventually could be effective. Several range units and dancers, and a good tank. And this is really confusing. Why are you going so far as to use 2 Mila? Because look at this. I only have Harsh Command Plus and Restore Plus. It's not a Restore Trap, because a Restore Trap uses a Dancer. I have no Dancer. There's no trap. I use this assist for defensive purpose, because I want her to get the buffs for fortified cavalry and make sure she avoids panic and debuffs, and eventually with restore. Protecting Lin from tactics room. It's just for defensive purpose. I mean, I don't understand why players want to go so far as to disable assist kill, any assist. I mean, it's kind of confusing. I like strategy game, and I think isolation is really bad for this game. Because in a strategy game you have to think about a good approach, a good strategy that works in any situation. And isolation destroys the strategy, because now you don't have to use a method. Isolation works in itself. And for me, yes, I really enjoy traditional Fire Emblem games, as they are real strategy games. So this one here, with skills like isolation, duo units, I don't think this can be called a strategy. Brave Edelgard really illustrates perfectly why I'm scared of Gen 5 units. They can reach high attack during combat, 80, 85. They would just one-shot absolutely everything. It's really going out of control. They just went too far. I really wish they can stop with this power creep, because it's from my perspective, it's really annoying. It's so scary. Now I'm talking about Claude. I think this unit is truly unfair. Traditionally, you have to use a healing special such as Noontime Soul, because you want to make your tank survive. But using noontime means you have less destructive power. You cannot use offensive special, and eventually maybe sometimes you will miss a kill, and this will trigger a chain of Wings of Mercy, which could be a problem. And this is why Lucina is so popular, because her weapon allows you to use Ever. But the problem is, unless you are using Brave Ike, the healing special Ever is triggered on the second hit, the second counter attack, which means those units will get badly hurt before you use your healing special. In other words, you cannot heal too much. This guy is different. Each counter attack is a super healing special, regardless of how much damage he deals. He can use Luna, Dead Eye, it's a deadly special, it's super dangerous. This guy is so unfair. But yes, this is Gen 5, so units are super dangerous now to fight against. There are not many options to deal with Claude. Bramimon disabled this weapon, so he cannot benefit from the breath effect of Lucina's weapon. But there are also several ways to kill Brave Claude. One is to one-shot him, eventually with Infantry Pulse team, but I don't like Infantry Pulse for obvious reasons, same reasons as to why many players dislike Infantry Pulse. It's because they are not funny to fight against. Another solution is simply using a guard effect. Of course, you cannot expect every unit with guard B skill, but instead, for example, instead of having Wings of Mercy on Lilina, you can get this. A ruse, any ruse is really good. It's one of the best B skill in the entire game. It's so useful for any kind of mode, for all game modes in this game. And the debuffs is just the icing on the cake. Inflicting guard is really important for your defense, because it protects you from Brave Ike, Marita, Fallen Ike, Brave Claude, anything that uses Lucina's weapon. And even if you use a ruse for your AR offense, it's very useful. Imagine you have legendary Eliwood. Instead of having chill attack, which is really worthless, you can use attack death ruse, attack speed ruse, and applying ruse on 2 entire columns. This is priceless. It's gold. It's also very good for PvE contents. All PvE contents. It's also very nice on arena defense, arena offense, arena assault. Ruse is so good as a skill. Even for your AR defense, not just Kevline, but any kind of AR defense, it's so nice to have. It's really a nice skill. So if you can grab one for your Kevline or another defense, I really strongly recommend one. So I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Thanks for your patience.